Right now, as you're watching this, I want you to remember the last time you felt truly desperate. Maybe it was texting someone who left you on read. Maybe it was applying to job after job, hearing nothing but silence. Maybe it was watching someone you loved choose someone else over and over again. Feel that pit in your stomach? That hollow ache that makes you want to try harder, chase faster, prove yourself more? That's the sound of your soul screaming a lie. I'm not enough as I am. But here's what will give you chills. Every single thing you've ever chased that didn't work out wasn't meant for you. Not because you weren't good enough, but because something infinitely better was being prepared. Carl Jung, who spent his life studying the patterns of human consciousness, discovered something that will change how you see rejection forever. What belongs to you will find you. This isn't feel-good philosophy. This is psychological warfare against the part of you that believes love is earned, opportunities are stolen, and happiness is something you have to convince the universe to give you. The truth is far more beautiful and terrifying. You are already enough. You always have been. The problem isn't that you're not worthy of what you want. The problem is that your desperation is repelling it. Tonight, I'm going to show you the 5 psychological principles that separate people who chase from people who attract. Warning, this will make you uncomfortable because you're about to realize how much energy you've wasted trying to convince people to choose you when the right people wouldn't need convincing. Before we shatter everything you thought you knew about getting what you want, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, share this with someone who's tired of chasing, and promise me you won't skip a single second. Your future self is depending on the next 20 minutes. Now, let's get into it. Close your eyes and think about the person in your life who you respect most. I guarantee you, they're not the one who says yes to everything. They're the one who made you wait. They're the one whose attention felt earned, not given. They're the one who, when they finally said yes to spending time with you, it felt like winning something precious. Here's the brutal psychology behind this. Scarcity creates obsession. When you're always available, always accommodating, always bending yourself into shapes that fit other people's needs, you become emotional fast food. Convenient, predictable, forgettable. I know this hurts because we've been programmed to believe that being helpful makes us valuable. But watch what happens in your own life. The friend who cancels last minute and you think, whatever, they always do this. Versus the friend who rarely cancels, so when they do, you actually worry about them. One has trained you not to value their word. The other has trained you to respect their boundaries. This is where most people break their own hearts. They think availability equals love, but availability without boundaries equals desperation. And desperation is the death of attraction. The people who get chosen, promoted, celebrated, loved, they're not necessarily better than you. They're just less available than you. Their presence is an event, not a given. Their attention is a gift, not a guarantee. I need you to get honest with yourself right now. How many times have you looked at a couple and thought, I need what they have? How many times have you scrolled through social media feeling like everyone else figured out the secret to happiness except you? How many times have you thought, If I just had that relationship, that job, that life, then I'd finally be okay. That feeling, that gnawing sense that you're incomplete without external validation, is exactly what's keeping you from attracting what you want. Here's the psychological trap. When you need someone else to feel whole, you're not looking for a partner, you're looking for a parent. You're not seeking love, you're seeking rescue. Carl Jung called this projection. When we expect others to carry the parts of ourselves we haven't developed yet. But think about it. Have you ever been attracted to someone who desperately needed you to fix them? Someone whose entire emotional stability depended on your attention? It's exhausting, isn't it? The most magnetic people you know don't need you. They choose you. There's a universe of difference between those two energies. Need creates pressure. Choice creates freedom. And human beings, like all living things, naturally move toward freedom and away from pressure. When you become complete within yourself, when you can sit with your own thoughts without distraction, when your happiness doesn't rise and fall with other people's moods, when you genuinely enjoy your own company, you stop radiating lack and start radiating abundance. This is where everything you think you know about getting what you want gets turned upside down. I want you to think about the last time you really wanted something. Maybe it was a text back. Maybe it was a job offer. Maybe it was someone to love you back. Remember how that wanting felt in your body? The tight chest, the obsessive thoughts, the checking your phone every 30 seconds. That energy, that desperate attachment to outcome, is a repellent force. Not because the universe is cruel, but because desperation makes us do desperate things. We text too much, we over-explain, we sacrifice our dignity for crumbs of attention. But here's what will blow your mind. The moment you genuinely stop caring about the outcome often changes. This isn't reverse psychology or playing hard to get. This is about understanding a fundamental truth of human psychology. People are attracted to those who are moving forward with or without them. Think about your own experience. When someone is trying too hard to impress you, how does it feel? Awkward, right? Pressure-filled. But when someone is just confidently being themselves, taking or leaving your approval, there's something magnetically attractive about that energy. This is detached engagement, caring deeply about your effort while releasing attachment to results. It's showing up fully while being genuinely okay with any outcome. Not fake okay, where you're secretly hoping and manipulating. Genuinely okay, because you trust that what's meant for you won't require you to abandon your dignity to get it. Close your eyes and go back to that moment when you first realized you were pretending. Maybe you were laughing at jokes that weren't funny, agreeing with opinions that made your soul cringe, or changing your entire personality depending on who walked into the room. Remember that sick feeling in your stomach when you caught yourself performing. That wasn't shame you were feeling. That was your authentic self screaming to be free. Now remember the moment you stopped trying to fit in and started standing out. Maybe it was the first time you spoke up in a meeting with an idea that felt risky. Maybe it was the day you stopped hiding your weird sense of humor and let people see the real you. Maybe it was when you finally wore something that felt like you, instead of what you thought others wanted to see. Remember how that felt? Terrifying at first, like jumping off a cliff. Then, liberation so pure, it took your breath away. Like you could finally breathe after holding your breath your entire life. That's the feeling of coming home to yourself. And that feeling, it's magnetic as hell. Here's the dark psychology most people never understand. We're not attracted to perfection. We're repelled by it. Perfect people make us feel inadequate. But authentic people, they make us feel possible. We're drawn to people who are unapologetically themselves because they give us permission to be unapologetically ourselves. Every time you perform a version of yourself you think others want to see, you're not just lying to them. You're building a prison for your soul. Because now you have to maintain that performance to keep their interest. You've attracted people who like your mask, not your face. And masks don't just hide you from others, they hide you from yourself. But here's what will give you chills: your authentic self, your weird thoughts, your unusual perspectives, your specific way of seeing the world. That's not your burden to hide. That's your competitive advantage. Anyone can copy what you do, say what you say, wear what you wear. But no one can copy the frequency of your soul. Stop trying to be what you think the world wants. Start being who you were before the world told you who to be. This is the hardest pill to swallow, and it's the one that will set you free. Every closed door in your life, every rejection, every no, every person who walked away, every opportunity that slipped through your fingers was the universe protecting you from what wasn't meant for you. I know that sounds like spiritual bypassing when you're in pain, when you're wondering why everyone else seems to get chosen and you're still waiting, when you're watching people get things you wanted with seemingly no effort while you've been trying so hard for so long. But here's what Carl Jung understood about synchronicity: those meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. They only flow when we stop forcing and start trusting. When we release our death grip on how we think things should happen and open ourselves to how they want to happen. Every person I know who has found their soulmate stopped desperately searching first. Every successful person I know released their attachment to specific outcomes and instead focused on becoming the person worthy of what they wanted. They prepared themselves for their blessings instead of chasing their blessings. Your job isn't to control the universe. Your job is to become so aligned with who you're meant to be that what belongs to you can't help but find you. Trust the intelligence that beats your heart, grows your hair, heals your wounds. That same intelligence is orchestrating the perfect timing of your life. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to feel something shifting inside your chest. That tight, desperate energy that's been driving you to chase, to prove, to convince, let it dissolve. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your breathing deepen. Feel the relief of finally coming home to a truth you've always known, but were afraid to trust. You are already enough. You don't need to chase love. You need to become so loving that love can't help but find you. You don't need to chase opportunities. You need to become so skilled, so valuable, so authentically yourself that opportunities chase you. You don't need to chase happiness. You need to become so content within yourself that happiness becomes your natural state. Tomorrow, when you wake up, I want you to walk differently. Move through the world not as someone who needs something from it, but as someone who has something valuable to offer it. Not from desperation, but from abundance. Not from fear, but from trust. What belongs to you is already on its way. Your job isn't to hunt it down. It's to become so irresistibly yourself that when it arrives, you're ready. If this message hit your soul, like this video, share it with someone who needs to stop chasing and start attracting. Subscribe for more truth that will change your life. And tell me in the comments, what are you ready to stop chasing? The universe has been waiting for you to remember who you really are. Welcome home.